Okay, uh, on my Dice Tower 2 video, I had a request for some more detailed drawings of of my dice tower, and this is what we got. So anyway, I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to run through this. As you can see, though, it's in PowerPoint, and I didn't. I could have hand drawn something, but you know what? I didn't spend all those years on active duty and get my PowerPoint tab for nothing. So figured I'd run it here, and of course, things are a lot clearer to see when I do things like that. So anyway, what we have here is the top-down view of the rollout tray on the dice tower, and this area right here, where right in the middle here, this is the base of the rollout tray. Now, if what it is, it's just a simple piece of wood, 3/8 inch stock, and it's 3 1/8 wide by 6 and 5/8 6 and 5/8. Oh man, I'm kind of tongue-tied today. Anyway, it's by 6 and 5/8 long, and again, I made that just a little bit larger, and I'll show you. I showed you why in the Dice Tower 2 video, but again, just very simple box basically is all I made here, where you have 3/8 inch wide stock all around the side, and if you come down here, you can see it's 13/16 of an inch high. You could certainly just go with 1 7/8 inch height if you wanted to. Now, right here, this gray area right here, I did I did notch that out so the dice would tumble out of the tower and into the rollout tray with no problem, and that is 1/2 inch high. And so, in other words, these little notches or tabs here on the end, if you will, they are 1/2 inch square. That's the size here. That's the size of this box. And if you're wondering about the little tick marks on the paper here on the background, those tick marks are 1/2 inch apart. So that should give you a good idea for reference here. So anyway, the height here 1 5/16 inch, and of course the width 3 7/8 inch wide, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a very simple little box. However, oh, that's right. One thing I did want to point out is that when I was talking about this area right here, on the Dice Tower 2 video, I mentioned that what I had done was I had actually taken a piece of wood, and the piece of wood that mated with the bottom of this here, and I just cut a 1/2 inch bit off of this end, then a 1/2 inch bit off that end. A safer way to do it, not necessarily an easier way to do it, but certainly a safer way to do it. Of course, depending on whether or not you have a straight cutting, some kind of cross-cutting sled or something like that, would be to put this on a router and just set it up so the router bit's going to leave a 1/2 inch on each side, and then run this in through the router, run it around the other way, run that through the router, of course, with the edge of the box up against the fence, and then just nibble away the rest of it in the middle. Different ways, a bandsaw or a scroll saw would be just as easy as well. Figure out a safe way to do it that's comfortable for you, and run with it. So that's my advice. So with that, let's go to the next slide, and this is the top-down view up here in the right-hand corner, upper right-hand corner of the tower itself. And of course, we have the two sides, and the sides are 3 inches long, and of course they're 3/8 of an inch thick, and then add that to the 2.5 inches here, and you get a total width of about 3 1/4 inches. But the thing we're really concerned about is this 2.5 inch width, because as you can see here, except for these two side pieces, all the pieces, the back, both front pieces and both baffle pieces are 2.5 inches wide, and that's because they're all going to sit in between the two sides. Now, the front pieces, we have two of them here. One's 2.5 inches long, or 2.5 by 2.5, that is, and that's going to be this front top piece right here. And then we have a 1 3/4 by 2.5 piece, and that's going to be this one down here. And then we have the two baffles, 1.5 by 2.5 up here, and 4 inches by 2.5 inches right here. Now, the measurement for all these pieces the length, not the 2.5 inch width, but the actual length is from the upper corner to the point on the bevel, and that's so everything will match up. You do not have to cut these bevels if you do not want to. However, if you do, or excuse me, if you choose not to cut the bevels, you need to subtract 3/8 of an inch all from the over. Excuse me. This one you can cut full length. This one though, this one and this one, you would have to take 3/8 of an inch off. Simple as that, because the 3/8 of an inch is the length of this little bit right here. This little extension that gets it up flat. So again, very simple. That's certainly an option you could take, especially if you're not comfortable making the miter cuts or you don't have any way to make the miter cuts. So the final thing are all these little blue dots, and the little blue dots are where the magnets are going to go. Now the magnets, you want to, obviously you're going to have to drill holes, not too deep holes, but you're going to have to drill holes for every magnet and put it into every piece of wood. And again, I touched in better detail on the original Dice Tower 2 video, so go back and take a look at that. Cheap way of getting hits, I guess. But anyway, one thing I didn't really remember to mention when I was doing the Dice Tower 2 video is that even though you can drill the holes for all your magnets with a hand drill, it's a lot simpler and much easier to get the desired depth if you use a drill press. So very, very simple. Just set the drill press up for the appropriate depth, punch it out, you're good to go. You don't have to make a template like I did. You could certainly do a very, very careful bit of measuring, but if you have a template, of course, it's very, very easy to transfer the marks from one piece of wood to the other piece of wood. So with that, I think that's it. So yeah. So anyway, if you have any questions, or any more comments, please let me know. And I guess I'll talk to you later. Bye.